Välkomna till Svenska kyrkans monter och Se människa-scenen. Vi ska vara med om ett samtal som har rubriken Från Syrien till Åseda. Det är Khaled Alesmael som talar med Pontus Bäckström. Och efteråt så finns det möjlighet att få Khaleds bok signerad här under signeringsskylten. Please, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Khaled.
Thank you. Tack.
Vi har kommit överens lite nu, jag och du, att prata lite svenska. För du lär dig svenska. How's your Swedish?
On the way. It's on the way. Jag lärde sig svenska. Jag går till svenska kursen now. Som varje dag. Så det är på väg.
Great.
Yeah.
But we'll have this conversation in mostly in English.
Yeah.
How are you now? You have a busy schedule during these days.
Yeah, it's going well, and it's like I was part of Bokmasam since 2015, 16, 17, but I was talking about the migration and the war in Syria. It's my first year talking about my own work, my first novel, Selamik, and it feels so good, and I feel so, it's awesome like to be part of the book fair and to leave a book and like work, a piece of my work in this big and huge event.
And tell me a little about yourself. Who are you? Your background?
Well, I came from Syria. I was a journalist in Syria, and still I worked as a journalist since I was 9 years old in a radio station, in Damascus radio station. And I was working for children until I graduated from the English literature, Damascus University. And I started working in radio station for adult music radio station, and then investigative journalist and correspondent for Radio France International in Paris from Damascus. And I worked in Cairo, in Turkey as a journalist, and I ended up in refugee status in Sweden, and I worked here at SVT, like well-known program called Uppdrag Granskning, and the radio, Swedish radio also, and now I'm releasing
and now you have written your first novel called Selamik. Och det är en bok som berättar om hur det är att leva som homosexuell i Syrien, i Damaskus. Och om hur det är att komma till Sverige med den erfarenheten och att leva på ett svenskt asylboende och gå igenom hela den processen. Och jag tror att det är Forat som är huvudperson i den här boken. Och boken är ett berättar jag. Och Forat säger vid något tillfälle att från och med nu ska det här inte vara hemligt längre. Det är detta jag måste kämpa för. Jag måste berätta om denna osynliga värld som varit dold alldeles för länge. This book, Selamik, is it the first novel ever about being gay in a Middle East context?
In Syria.
In Syria.
It's the first gay novel ever coming out from Syria. No one touched this subject for many reasons. The first, if I will talk about the regime and the democratic situation in Syria, we don't have this. We are occupied by dictatorship since 1970, and also a lot of challenge and like powers they kept forbidding this kind of topic. Like also the religion and the tradition. And in a country like Syria, I cannot call it like Islamic country. I cannot discriminate the other religion, and the other sects we have in Syria, like Druze, Alawite, Shia, Sunni, Christian, Catholic, Orthodox. So it's a conservative country, and the homosexuality is like forbidden because of the tradition there. To be gay is a big shame. And that's why, and if we want to talk about the homosexuality in Syria, we criticize it in the media as a bad thing because it's crime in our institution, and the law and the constitution is a crime. Homosexual people go to the jail from 6 months to 2 years. Can be jailed, so you cannot talk about a homosexual person, man or woman, as a victim or to show his life is more than homosexuality. He's just a human being. He's part of the Syrian structure, you know. It's forbidden. That's why I'm really, as a writer or a journalist, I've done this book. I still believe that Sweden give a lot of opportunities to artists and writers to publish and to show their works, and this is one of the fruits, I will say, that Sweden can give to the authors around the world.
Yeah. The main character in the book is called Forat, and there's a lot of similarities between yourself and Forat. How come you choose to write about Forat instead of yourself, Khaled?
Actually, I am open about it. Like when I started writing Selamik, I was writing my autobiography. But during the writing process, I found out I met Forat, which is he is like really a person I dreamed to be. He can be my idol. If when I was teenager, I was looking forward, or I was really searching to read about person like Forat, to be brave, to be to say what I couldn't say as Khaled. So Forat is stronger than me. I found him inside me when I decided to leave the country to escape the war. I never knew that I could do this hard journey and to walk in all this dark landscape through the night to escape the war and to arrive to Turkey and to Europe later. So Forat is like he is the person who we miss as gay people in Syria, to read about him and to know him as gay men or boys in Syria and in the past. So I hope the people will get transported and inspired by him and learn about Forat.
Yeah. Tell me about your home city, Deir ez-Zor. You grew up there. Tell me a little about your growing up.
Well, the city, it's called Deir. Deir in Arabic, it means kind of church, like where the priests can stay. In the Middle East, especially in Syria, we have a lot of Deir cities called like this. Originally, the type of city, it's very Christian, and we have a big history with the Christianity, as also the Armenian, when they escaped the massacre in Turkey, they also find Deir ez-Zor as a heaven there, and I wrote about that, about the structure of the city, how it's diverse and rich. You find Muslim, we really don't find any difference, and I wrote about the best friend of Forat's mother. Forat's mother is Muslim woman, and her best friend was Christian woman coming. She migrated also from the north of Syria to Deir ez-Zor, because Deir ez-Zor is like diverse city where everyone can find a place, Christian, Muslim, Jewish in the past before they migrated in the 90s. So it was really, I can say the city was discriminated or segregated by the regime, because the city was rich with oil. So the regime, as a dictatorship, didn't want to spotlight the city. But the people were there living together. We don't find any difference. Church next to the mosque. And one of the really strongest image came through the war from Deir ez-Zor, this city, a church and mosque destroyed by bombs together, because they were like neighbors.
Yeah, yeah. You know, when we met the first time, I asked you about what did you know about Sweden before coming here. Do you remember what you said?
Yes, Abba.
Abba, yeah, of course.
Abba, yeah.
And my next question will be a title of an Abba song.
Yes.
And will be about your mother. Does Your Mother Know? You know that ABBA song? Yeah. And you dedicate this novel to your mother as well. What kind of person was she, your mother? And how did she react when you told her that you were gay?
I will talk about my experience, not Furat. I decided to tell her because she was like really asking me to get married, like when I was 27. And I just decided to invite her to my home for fika, and I was actually not afraid to tell her because I believe so much in my mother's heart and in mom's hearts in general. So when I told her like I'm gay, the first word she said that I know, and she told me you lived 9 months here, so of course I know everything about you. And but she was tearful, and in the same time she was really supportive. And what she done, like she met my siblings, all of them, and she made really hard talk to them, and she said if you don't accept him, just don't talk about it, but you have to accept him, and this is the thing make him happy, and he should keep it forever. And before also she left, she passed away, she said the same to them. And I have brothers and sisters, and my sisters, of course, we have very good relationship, and my brothers, some of them, they are relaxed, and some of them, they don't talk about it, as my mother ordered. So I hope that in the future we will talk, and they know about the book. It's very funny. My sister told me, it's nice, but why did you choose this cover? I just want to share it with my friends. It's too much. I cannot share it on my social media, but they are happy and proud to have this. Yeah.
Being gay in Syria, in Damascus, reading this book, the hammams plays an important role. What is a hammam?
Well, hammam in the beginning for Furat, I will talk. The main character, Furat, found the hammams when he was like 21 years old, and in the beginning his drive was his sexual desire. It was very sexy for him to go to the hammams and meet all handsome men, sexy men, and doing things with them.
What is it? What is a hammam?
Hammam is sauna. But it's oriental sauna, like very special. I think the newest one in Damascus was like 70 years old. Like we have it. This culture came from the Ottoman to Syria during the Ottoman occupation. So we have this old, exotic, beautiful also architecture, like really beautiful sauna, and it seems like this culture came from the past, like gay men meet there. It's like the way they can meet and have sex. But for Furat, after like a while, after he started to grow up, he started to feel like the hammams are not places only to have sex, also to talk, and he not to feel lonely as a gay man. He was like sharing his experience with other older gay men and younger in Damascus, and it was a special place for him and a big thing in his memory.
Is it a safe zone, sort of, for gay men?
Yeah, because it's the place where everyone, the faces are blurred because of the steam. So, and you go almost nude or naked inside, so it's you. You cannot hide anything. You reveal everything, and also the steam could help you because you don't see the person who is in front of you very well because of the strong steam. So it's a good environment for the gay people to meet and talk, Yeah.
And then you come to Sweden eventually, and you end up in an asylum center in Åseda. And the next ABBA song I will relate to is One of Us, and it's about belonging, because you write about you're meeting with other refugees there, mostly men, and you share the same experience as them, coming from a war to a foreign country. So you, in a way, you are one of them. But on the other hand, you can't tell your story for them, coming out as a gay man. So you're not one of them as well. Tell me about that.
Yes, it's quite hard to hide something. Like I was longing for Sweden to arrive and get safer place to come out. But the surprise, like I ended up with the same almost environment. I used to hide my identity. So I did the same thing. So it was painful, but in the same time, it was special. Today I left this place like 3 years ago, and sometimes I miss it. I miss the connection between those people. I feel like I had to do more when I was there, because I was like trying to bring the homosexuality subject to the table all the time. And also I created, which is me, I created a fictional or like virtual friend as a gay man to them, and I was telling them his story and how he used to live and what's his situation in Sweden. I was really trying my best to make them just respect, not accept, the homosexuality. So, but it was hard in the same time. The hard side, like you are. When I was in Syria, these people didn't live with me in the same place. I have friends, they know about me. I have my family, they love me the way I am. So it's hard to sleep in the same person in one room. In the one room with a homophobic person. He is very open about his homophobia, and but I believe in the same time that it is something to protect himself, to protect his sexuality, or to protect his sexual identity. I always believe in hearts, and in the dialogue. And I believe these people, I don't want to be like very correct or like angel, but I really sympathize with them, because I am a gay man and I never had resources to learn about my sexual identity. So what about them? So we lack the education. This is fact for Syrians. If I will talk only about my home or my homeland. Yes, we lack the education about the homosexuality. We don't have literature. We don't have education in the school. It's forbidden everywhere we go. We don't have about we are not very much open talking about sex. Even I have a lot of female friends. They don't know about the period and the sexual health, because it's quite taboo to talk about that. So we like that, and I think it's time. I feel sorry for people they stayed there, but Syrians who arrived at Sweden, they need it, and I'm sure they need it so much inside them, even if they are shy to talk about it. And it's like what we have, and what I am trying also myself to do. Yeah.
Det finns en väldigt rörande scen där du möter en man som heter Abu Garam. Och det är en ganska sensuell scen från början, med där det slutar med att ni bara faller i varandras armar och gråter. Jag tänkte jag skulle läsa ur boken. Vi gråter för Damaskus. Vi gråter för Al-Ghouta. Vi gråter för Deir ez-Zor. Vi gråter för Aleppo. Vi gråter för våra gator, för tjuvarnas marknad. Vi gråter för hamammerna. Vi gråter för lagertvålen. Vi gråter för fruktträdgårdarna. Vi gråter för vår egen undergång. Vi gråter för vårt ursprung. Vi gråter för havet, för jorden. Vi gråter för skuggan av aprikosträden. Vi gråter för smaken av apelsin. Vi gråter för högarna av melon. Vi gråter för fattigdomen. Vi gråter för förtrycket. Vi gråter för vår svaghet. Vi gråter för Altavragatan. Vi gråter för revolutionen. Vi gråter för kriget. Vi gråter för skammen. Vi gråter för nederlaget. Vi gråter för att vi är syrier. Vi gråter för spillrorna av vår identitet. Vi gråter för vårt språk. Vi gråter för våra döda, vi gråter för våra mödrar, våra fäder, våra syskon. Vi gråter för det förflutna, vi gråter för nuet, vi gråter för framtiden. Vi gråter för rädslan, förtvivlan, ensamheten. Vi gråter för våra döttrar, våra hem, våra sängar. Vi gråter för våra kuddar. Vi gråter för avstånden. Vi gråter för att vi fortfarande är vid liv. Vi gråter för att vi är döda. We will soon end this conversation. But for you, is there any hope for gay people in Syria, and how does that hope look like?
There is always hope. When I look at my journey, I survived many gunfire. I survived hot spots in Syria and clashes. And today I am here talking about my first book. Yeah. And I'm doing still alive and doing things. I lost many people I love during the war, and I'm still here talking about this. It's like I am also involved in the movement in Sweden for LGBTQ and the journalism. Of course, when I look at my personal journey, definitely there is hope. And I always say, as long as we have hearts beating, of course there is hope, big hope.
Thanks. And I like your shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for talking to me. Thanks.